Hello everyone and welcome to the lecture on Amazon Bedrock. So this lecture will contain all these topics. What is Amazon Bedrock? What can I do with Amazon Bedrock? Key terminology, list foundation models, list of models, and two examples showcasing Anthropic Claude V2 model. So what is Amazon Bedrock? Amazon Bedrock is a fully managed service providing access to foundational models from leading AI companies and Amazon through a unified API. Users can select from various foundation models to find the best match for their specific use case. The service offers capabilities for building generative AI applications with security, privacy, and responsible AI features. Amazon Bedrock allows users to experiment with and evaluate foundation models for their use cases. Users can privately customize models with their data using techniques like fine-tuning and retrieval augmented generation (RAG). The service enables building agents that execute tasks using enterprise systems and data sources. Amazon Bedrock provides a serverless experience which allows users to get started quickly without managing any infrastructure. Users can privately customize foundation models with their own data. The service integrates securely with applications using AWS tools. So what can I do with Amazon Bedrock? First, you can experiment with prompts and configurations. So you submit prompts and generate responses with model inference by sending prompts using different configurations and foundation models to generate responses. You can use the API or the text, image and chat playgrounds in the console to experiment in a graphical interface. And when you are ready, you can set up your application to make requests to the invoke model APIs. Create knowledge bases by uploading data sources to be queried in order to augment a foundation model generation of responses. You can build agents that use foundation models, make API calls, and optionally query knowledge bases in order to reason through and carry out tasks for your customers. You can customize an Amazon Bedrock foundation models by providing training data for fine-tuning or continued pre-training in order to adjust a model's parameters and improve its performance on specific tasks or in certain domains. You can purchase provisioned throughput for a foundational model in order to run inference on models more efficiently and at a discounted price. You can evaluate the outputs of different models with built-in or custom prompt datasets to determine the model that is best suited for your application. You can use guardrails to implement safeguards for your generative AI applications. You can get faster response times and improved responsiveness for AI applications with latency-optimized inference for foundation models. So let's talk about some key terminology. First one, foundation model, which I have used a lot. So basically, this is an AI model with a large number of parameters and trained on a massive amount of diverse data. A foundation model can generate a variety of response for a wide range of use cases. Foundation models can generate text or image and can also convert input into embeddings. Base model, a foundation model that is packaged by a provider and is ready to use. Amazon Bedrock offers a variety of industry-leading foundation models from leading providers. Model inference. This is the process of a foundation model generating an output, which is a response from a given input, which is called as a prompt. Prompt, an input provided to a model to guide it to generate an appropriate response or output for the input. For example, a text prompt can consist of a single line for the model to respond to, or it can detail instructions or a task for the model to perform. The prompt can contain the context of the task, examples of outputs, or text for a model to use in its response. Prompts can be used to carry out tasks such as classification, question answering, code generation, creative writing, and many more. Token. This is a sequence of characters that a model can interpret or predict as a single unit of meaning. For example, With the text models, a token could correspond not just to a word, but also to be a part of a word with a grammatical meaning, such as more lot of words end by ed. So that can be a token also, and the word before also can be a token also. Another example is a punctuation mark, for example, a question mark, or some common phrases like a lot. So this all are can be called as a token. For example, in this particular word, for example, meaning. So here we can have two token. One is mean and ing is a separate token. So same, for example, interpreted. So interpret can be a one token and ed can be another token. Model parameters, values that define a model and its behavior in interpreting input and generating responses. Model parameters are controlled and updated by providers. You can also update model parameters to create a new model through the process of model customization. Inference parameters, values that can be adjusted during model inference to influence our response. Inference parameters can affect how varied responses are and can also limit the length of a response or the occurrence of specified sequences. Playground. This is a user-friendly graphical interface in the AWS Management Console in which you can experiment with running model inference to familiarize yourself with Amazon Bedrock. Use the playground to test out the effects of different models, configurations, and inference parameters on the responses generated for different prompts that you enter. Embedding, the process of condensing information by transforming input into a vector of numerical values, known as the embeddings, in order to compare the similarity between different objects by using a shared numerical representation. Orchestration, the process of coordinating between foundation models and enterprise data and applications in order to carry out a task. Next, agent. This is an application that carries out the orchestrations through cyclically interpreting inputs and producing outputs by using a foundation model. An agent can be used to carry out customer requests. Retrieval augmented generation (RAG), the process of querying and retrieving information from a data source in order to augment a generated response to a prompt. So this is very hot nowadays in enterprises. So basically what they do is they input lot of their company data and, for example, source code or documentation and all. So because that's a custom data and they want to query that particular data, so this is what we call as retrieval augmented generation. So you first augment all the information and then you generate responses out of that by prompting it or by automating it through some applications. Model customization, the process of using training data to adjust the model parameter values in a base model in order to create a custom model. Examples of model customization include fine-tuning, which uses labeled data, which are basically inputs and corresponding outputs, and continued pre-training, which uses unlabeled data, inputs only, to adjust the model parameters. Hyperparameters, values that can be adjusted for model customization to control the training process and consequently the output custom model. Model evaluation, the process of evaluating and comparing model outputs in order to determine the model that is best suited for a use case. So how you can list foundation models? So you can check in the console also, but if you are using CLI, you can use this command, AWS Bedrock list foundation models. And if you want some more information, you can get by issuing this command, AWS Bedrock get foundation model and the model identifier. So this is the list of all the foundation models. This is being constantly updated, and by the time you read, all the newer model will be covered. So even in this slide, 3.7 Sonnet is also part of the offering. So first we have Anthropic and all the Claude 3 Haiku, 3 Sonnet, 3.5 Sonnet, 3 Opus, and 3.7 Sonnet is also available. And you can just pause it if you want to read the reason and what they do. But this is from Anthropic. Then from Amazon, we have Titan, and there are two model name. And then what is the model ID? So this we will use in the automation or through the CLI. And we have another from Amazon, Titan multi-model. So, and after this we have two more from Amazon. Both are their model name is Titan. And from the Meta, we have two very famous Llama 3.1, 8 billion instruct and 70 billion instruct, these two models, and this is also getting constantly being updated. And from the Mistral AI, we have Mistral 7B instruct, Mistral 8 X7B, and Mistral large, and what they do and what is the model ID. And lastly, we have from this provider called Cohere, and they have this model called Command R plus and Command R. And from the Stability AI, we have the Stable Diffusion 3.5 large and Stable Image Ultra 1.0. So this is an example of how to use. So this is a Boto example. So this can be used in Lambda function also. So this is so first you initialize the AWS Bedrock runtime using Boto 3, which handles the API communication with the Bedrock service. So this particular line. And then we are preparing the prompt for the LLM in the required format using the human/assistant style for Claude models. Then we specify the maximum number of tokens, that is words and parts of words, that the model should generate in its response. So this is we are giving 300, it should not generate more than 300. Then the temperature value, and we are setting it to 0.1. This controls the randomness in the response. Lower value produce more deterministic focused outputs, and higher value will be more random. Then we configure the top P here, and it's 0.9. This one is called as nucleus sampling, and we are setting it to 0.9, and this determines how the model selects token probabilistically. Then 6, we specify model to use, in this case Claude V2 from Anthropic, one of the foundation models. Then we set the expected response format here, which is the application JSON format, and the request content type for both request and response handling. Finally, at here we are invoking the model to make the actual API call to the Bedrock, invoking the LLM large language model with our prepared parameters. And ninth, we pass the response body from a streaming format to a Python dictionary using JSON. And finally, extract and print only the completion text from the response, which contains the Claude's answer about the black holes. And this is the last example. So same thing. First, we initialize the Bedrock runtime client using Boto 3. Then we create the prompt using the required human assistant. So this is the format. Next, we set the maximum token limit to 4000, which allows for longer responses that can accommodate 1000 word essay request. So because we are asking for an essay which should be around 1000 words or around within 1000 words. So that's why we have put a higher token limit. Then we invoke the Claude V2 model with this streaming. So this one is using the streaming. So we call this object and invoke model with response stream, which returns results incrementally as they are generated rather than waiting for the complete response. So if you would have used GPT, it's basically streaming. So that's why you can see line by line or word by word instead of waiting the whole thing in one go. Then we extract the response stream from the API response. Then we iterate through each event in the stream, processing chunks of the response as they arrive in real time. So because it's a very big essay, so we just print out in small chunks, and for each chunk we decode the bytes to a string because it will come as a binary. We pass the JSON content, print it to the console, and this allows for progressive display of the essay as it is being generated. And that's all. Thanks for watching.